So this is kind of what I watch. You can kind of see the top left. This guy teaches you to read a book in a day. Pretty good. I like it. It's a really good idea. His name is Nelson Dellis, and then next that's Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson does demographics, devastating tornado damage in a small town. He usually doesn't cover this type of media. He usually just goes into towns, drives through them, and talks about the towns and their demographics and poverty levels and rich levels. And he's also a real estate guy, and he's got a lot of subscribers. His name is Nick Johnson. Over here is just American Spy Fox. I don't know. I didn't like it. Down there is Bob Odenkirk interviewed the cast and crew of Lucky Hank, which I highly recommend. Bob is a genius, and everybody needs to watch him at all times. Nightly news, and then Sad Lisa, and then of course I always watch Adam the Woo. I watched a few moments of The Gambler, and then something horrible happened to me. I don't want to talk about it. I know Mark is a big Roman Catholic. Anyway, last day of Disney World, mediocre. I didn't really get to see that, I don't think. I might have saw some of it. I thought it was pretty good. And then I really like Pixie's Gouged Away. This is actually a really good Fugazi waiting room from Cleveland School of Rock. Next to this is a nice little band called Duran Benar, Tiny Desk Concert. They played one day ago. I watch a lot of NPR music. That's our song Drag Sandwich. Pretty proud of that song. It's from the Cole and Linda Filmmaker Band, once known as the Linda and Cole Band. She's 70. She's almost Patti Smith's age. That's Sonic Youth lead singer. Smashing Pumpkins, there's Billy Corgan back when he was with, when Darcy was playing on Saturday Night Live. Cherub Rock. Didn't watch the Waldemar Looks of the Dark Ages. I didn't really watch The Lost History of Old North. 13 minutes on Google. I watched some of that. I was looking for nuclear bomb explosions. This is a prank a guy made, Sam Lags. It's a nuclear bomb prank where he's with his grandparents watching television. He's interrupted by a news report that nuclear missiles are coming from Korea, and it's not very funny, but they don't know how to take it. But it was like it comes in beep beep beep, and he was playing a joke on his grandparents. I was looking at different nuclear bomb explosions for Lynn Driver, but I don't think I'm going to explain the post-apocalyptic aspect of Lynn Driver and why Lynn Driver is. Here's some of Lynn Driver right there. I've been watching some of it. So the 5-minute one, I'm probably going to cut the music, and maybe even on the 7-minute one, which is another version. Right there is the 7-minute one daily of Lynn Driver. It says Lynn Driver post-apocalyptic. Lynn Driver post-apocalyptic film Lucky Strike's White Circle. It's the intro. I'm probably going to cut the music and reuse it. I have the original footage. So this is something I'm putting together. We have about maybe 7 to 10 minutes of it. Here's the second episode, which it's not an episode, but it's the second daily. Lynn Driver, a post-apocalyptic film drop-off is what it's called. That one I like. The music was from the Please Subscribe show, and that's kind of why I don't want to use the music on these two. This 520 and this one down here that's 711. I watch a lot of vlogging. All the time if I'm waiting on an export. One of my favorite albums is T for the Tillerman with Cat Stevens. I probably think it could be one of the best albums ever. And then I like Pink Floyd The Wall too. And then I'm a big fan of like Need to Breathe and Mercy Me, things like that. And that's that's just some of the stuff that I'm watching. And I go through I do watch some of the vlogs. I know it needs development. The Please Subscribe show is constantly developing. So that's all my little YouTube thing. Every once in a while, I'll find a free movie. For example, if I want to watch the Pelican Brief, I can. I saw Julia Roberts. I saw her when I was a teenager. I was 19. I saw her in person on the set of Pelican Brief in Louisiana at the Fairmont Hotel where they were filming with John Hurt. I sat in Sam Shepard's chair, but Sam Shepard was not there. I wouldn't have recognized him at the time. I was only 19. I knew who Julia Roberts was, and she looked very stressed. They were doing Pelican Brief. John Hurt was pretty stressed too. It was a John Grisham novel, so they were working, you know, with a great writer, and it was a new great writer at the time. It was like 1993 or 92. I think it was 92. And I didn't get her autograph. She just walked by me, but I did get John Hurt's autograph, but I got him mixed up with William Hurt. So I thought he was William Hurt. True story. Very sad situation. I said, "You were great in The Doctor." My mom walked up behind me. So I was on my mom had taken me to the Thomas Wolfe Society with my stepdad, and we were following the footsteps of Thomas Wolfe, which led to the Fairmont Hotel. So my mom came up behind me right to, not, you know, John Hurt. "Oh, I loved you in Altered States." So that's when John Hurt kind of smiled and said, "You have me mixed up with William Hurt." It was John Hurd. And I got his autograph anyway. I said, "Well, what movies were you in?" You know, and he just got flushed. I said, "Can I have your autograph?" He said, "Sure." So I gave him my, you know, plane ticket. And he signed it, John Hurd. Don't know where that plane ticket is today. There's like ticket stuff from the plane. And I said, "Thank you." He said, "It works on my checks." I said, "Oh, I guess back then people wrote checks." He's breathing very heavily because he was about to go on in this bar sequence. He had a very important role in Pelican Brief. John Hurd was a genius. Regardless, I probably didn't make his day that day because William Hurt had just done The Doctor and was a good film. John Hurt didn't have roles like that. He was kind of a guy in the background a little bit. You know, he was over-the-shoulder actor. But he was an actor nevertheless. He was in Trip to Bountiful. He mentioned Trip to Bountiful to me. I later on went and saw it and liked it. And he also mentioned Big. He was in Big with Tom Hanks. He goes, "Didn't you see Big?" I just kind of, you know, got stubbed and just was like, yeah. And then eventually I walked over and sat in Sam Shepard's chair. It's a true story. Sam Shepard wasn't on set. Sam Shepard was in the Pelican Brief. Anyway, good night. Believe it or not, you're about to see a scene that takes place in a bar after this scene. That's Denzel Washington. This is Pelican Brief. I was on set. I was 19 years old. I sat in Sam Shepard's chair, but Sam Shepard was here in the bar waiting. They mentioned a name that sounds like Cole. It's John Hurt. I had just met him seconds before. And I was there when they were shooting the scene. John Hurt was breathing, making, you know, there it is. They spell it C-O-A-L, but it's spelled C-O-L-E, which is my name. I was on set waiting. Watch. Movies are prophetic. He's passed away at Sam Shepard. I have all his work right here. There it is, C-O-L-E. I once debated on changing my name to C-O-A-L, not C-O-L-E. That's him right here. That's Sam Shepard. He's passed away from ALS. There's the name in the script is C-O-L-E. This is misspelled because this is read off the television, not off the film. It was C-O-L-E. I was supposed to be there. And I had just met John Hurt and got his autograph. My mom has probably, or had that autograph. I don't know if she got rid of it. But he had autographed my plane ticket. That's John Hurt. I've talked about it several times. That's the bar. I remember seeing inside of it. There's the horse with George Washington. I'm doing some research on something. I need you to be quiet.
Yes, I can.
Okay. That's C-O-L-E, not C-O-A-L. They're talking about a character named Cole, and I was on set for Pelican Brief. Okay. And I sat in his chair, who was Sam Shepard. Alcohol is evil, and that man is dead because of it. Alcohol is evil, and that's all I wrote about. So it just happened to be coincidence that a guy named Cole shows up on set at the Fairmont Hotel right before John Hurt goes in to speak to Sam Shepard. Sam Shepard's chair is there.
I sit in Sam Shepard's chair. Not a directing chair, but looks like one. It's an acting chair. Sam Shepard's waiting in the bar because he was a horrible, miserable alcoholic just sitting there. Maybe even getting a drink, but he orders coffee and the drink. And then John Hurt comes in. I had talked to John Hurt right before he went in to that scene. And who do they talk about in the scene? C-O-L-E, a character named Cole.
Oh, Spivey.
Right.
Watch out, y'all.
And that's what's playing right there, Pelican Brief. I just happened to be on set. How could that be coincidence? My name could have been any name. And you know what? Cole's my middle name. It's just the name I use. How could that be coincidence? And John Grisham wrote it years before Pelican Brief was done. I'm sure he had something to do with the screenplay too. How? How could it be coincidence? Tell me that. How? How can it be coincidence? How could that be coincidence? But that's what. No, hang on. That's what they'll say. Hang on. That's what they'll say. They'll say, "Oh, it's coincidence. It wasn't God at hand." There is a God. Most people are going to hell because they'll say coincidence. It's prophecy. I was supposed to be there, probably to warn John Hurt. There he is right there in the bathrobe. And that is just coincidence, right? Not prophecy. That they were talking about Cole. It was scripted. They had to. They had to say Cole, the name Cole. No one knows filming locations before they film because they don't want everybody being there. How did we know? How did we know? We were at a restaurant nearby. I had to run there really quick to make sure that I spoke with John Hurt at the age of 1992-ish or so. It came out in 93, didn't it? It came out in 1993, right? Right? It came out in 1993. She has an alcohol problem. She drinks too much alcohol. Sam Shepard has an alcohol problem, but he's dead. John Hurt's dead too. There he is talking on the phone right there.
There's no alcohol.
Yeah. And all you say instead of prophecy, all you say instead of prophecy, all you say is coincidence. That's what you do your entire life. You don't live by faith, and yet you don't say that I do. I was there. My name's Cole. They were talking about Cole. No, you were not there. They were shooting Pelican Brief. It just happened to be coincidence. It wasn't coincidence. It was meant to be because that's proof that there is a God. It's proof there's a God and knows every hair on your head. Trust me, most people are going to hell. I was there for a reason, for this very reason. A designed reason by God. Two characters, John Hurt, Sam Shepard. Look, I'm an expert on Sam Shepard. I have all his work right here. All of it right here. All his work. Full for Love. All of it right here. Here's another one that I have. Full for Love. I don't drink. I don't get drunk. It was prophecy. I was supposed to be there. You don't want to see prophecy. Think about it. My name's Cole. John Hurt's standing there. I meet him, and right there before that bar, inside Fairmont Hotel at the basement, Julia Roberts, when she walked in, she's going like this. You know what this is? It's like a salute. She was going like this as she was walking in, just like a salute. This guy was waiting in the bar, waiting to get his little drink. Probably maybe not drinking, but at least hoping that he could, because he ordered coffee at the bar. He talks about Cole. John Hurt talks to him too, and they mention Cole several times. It's a true story. How can that be coincidence? How? How could it possibly be coincidence? It's proof that there's a God and that he knows every head. He knows every hair on your head, John Grisham. He had you write that. Everything was timed out perfectly because he knows the before and after. He plans it all. You're not in control of the movie. God is in control of the movie. God is in control of the words, not the writer. They just think they are. It's God who writes it all, and it's not coincidence. Good night. And here is my collection of all Mr. Shepard's work, because I wanted to know him well, because God used him to speak to you. And that's why I studied all his work right here. How can we see this work here? How can we see it? Look, that's how powerful God is. All his work. Sam Shepard, even his little bio too. An old bio. Full for Love, The Unseen Hand. Another version of Unseen Hand in Chicago play. Chicago play, 7 plays. You thought we liked him because we wanted to like him? We liked him because he was part of the prophecy. This movie's about the government, the evil government that needs discipline under God. We're founded on biblical ideas. You support abortion, you're going to hell. We are founded on biblical ideas. The Constitution is another version of biblical ideas, so that you're free to have a separation between church and state, and you're free to believe in what you want to believe in. I believe in Jesus Christ before it's over. I would believe in Jesus Christ before it's over and not be fooled. I don't mean to be snide, but I would sincerely and urgently believe in Jesus Christ and put away the old ways. The Pharisees and Sadducees were wrong, and he drew the line to protect not only people like Julia Roberts, but the woman of the night, who they were going to stone to death because she broke the law. They were going to stone and kill her to death. But Jesus stood out there and said, there's a new way. It's called forgiveness. It is called forgiveness. Think about it. Think about it. How you're a logical person. Do the math in your head. I was standing there talking to John Hurd before he walked in to the bar to speak about a judge named Cole with Sam Shepard, who also mentions Cole. That happened before. John Grisham wrote that book way before. He couldn't have planned it. Nobody could plan it. No one could plan that. My mom hadn't read Pelican Brief. My stepdad surely did not read John Grisham. I didn't read John Grisham at that time. I only read like one of his books. We would have never have known in a million years. How could that be lined up that way? There's no way. There's no way that was coincidence. It was divine intervention.